Welcome back to another trade journal entry. Oh, wait. What? Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. Okay. Yo, we got the camera, bro. Oh my God. This is so crazy. This looks so good. This is my first time using it. This is crazy. It looks so good. Wow. Oh my God. I look so different now. Like the webcam's not dookie anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Okay. 1080p quality HD, man. I don't know if this is 60 FPS or 30, but it looks good in my opinion. I could care less. But anyway, I got the camera. It came in today, so I'm happy about that. My hair is a little goofy right now, but who cares, man? I'm happy. So, oh my gosh, this looks crazy, bro. But anyway, let's get into the trade journal entry before I make this video too long. It's already 8:36 a.m. I could just show it down here, but I'm gonna be talking at the end of this, so this might be at least a 50-minute video, give or take, even an hour, because we're on our last month. Yeah, we just finished up August. This is our 20th trade. I did some math, so if I do, I could do 10 trades today. Today I could have taken 10 trades. That would have counted as one trading day. So we're doing trading sessions, as in like, you know, I've done 20 trading sessions out of 100. But anyway, so I did some math, and if it takes 20 trading sessions within the month, because I trade Monday through Friday instead of Sunday to Saturday or Friday or whatever, I do Monday through Friday. That's 5 trades a week. There's four weeks in a month. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. So if I do 20 trading sessions within a month, that means it'll take me until December to finish 100 trades. Now, we're going to talk about this at the end of everything, the trade journal entry and all that, because I know originally I had said to take either 30 trading sessions or 100. And I wanted to take my first 30 first and see where I'm at, you know, out of the 100, and be honest with myself and analyze whether, you know, I need to take the 100 or I'm okay to take a funded. We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. I haven't thought much about this, but I'll be thinking about it as we talk about this, you know, the trade journal entry. So I'll be coming up with an answer at the end. I know I said 30 trades or 100. We're not even on 30. We're on 20. Again, I'm not stupid. I'll get to it. Anyway, I have my Google Sheets here and my notepad as usual, my trade journal entry, all that, and then I have my other monitor showing the charts and all that. So let's get into it before it gets too late. It's already 3 minutes in, but hey, who cares, right? Let me move my mic first, because I kind of want it like right here, but wow, that looks really bad. I can't even read that. I might make this a portrait. What if I do this? Oops. Yeah, I could do that. You guys can't see the mic, but it's like right there. So anyway, today's trade journal entry is going to be August 29th, 2025. We're doing New York session as usual. It's so weird looking up, but New York session as usual. This is our 20th trade out of 100, and we have 80 remaining. Today's result is 2 wins, 2 contracts total, and a P&L of $287. This is our week 4, so we have to, you know, every ending of the week, we have to do P&L of the week. So this week's P&L was $621, and I'm doing something new, which is entries. I don't know if I've been doing it. I don't remember, but week 4 entries, the amount of entries I did is 6 wins. I have 6 wins this week because that's the amount of entries I made. So 6 entries, 6 wins, 8 contracts total. Okay, so today's bias was bearish price action Price action tapped the top of a 4-hour bullish inverse fair value gap multiple times. At 5:30 a.m., price action formed an engulfing candle due to news data, and then price action closed inside a 1-hour bearish fair value gap, then moved away before consolidating at the bottom of that zone for about an hour. And I don't mean consolidating like, oh, we're going like this and like that. No, dude, from this all the way here, straight line. So, kind of annoying, but whatever. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, yeah, so it consolidated bottom of that zone for an hour. The 1-hour bearish fair value gap key level tap served as a step 2 validation for me, even though it tapped that 4-hour bullish inverse fair value gap multiple times. It was kind of invalidated at that point due to news. So I kind of had to make an educated decision of whether I wanted to count the first couple taps. It tapped a lot of times, you'll see. Or whether I wanted to count the 1-hour bearish fair value gap as my main validation. So I made the right call here. Good on me. Setup. Bearish continuation confirmed my breaker structure to downside. Multiple bearish fair value gaps. Bearish inverse fair value gaps formed. Looked for pullbacks into imbalances and order blocks to confirm continuation short setups. I cannot read this. I'm going to full size this. There we go. Anyway, that was my setup. And then my entry, I took 2 trades today. So first trade, short off of breaker structure and bearish fair value gap and a inverse fair value gap pullback. So price action pulled back and retraced into that bearish fair value gap and the bearish inverse fair value gap, and giving me my continuation confirmation for that breaker structure and respecting the retracement. So it was just entry at that point for me. TP filled at key level for me, which is where I put my TP. And first P&L was $181.50. And then second trade was short continuation off breaker structure and bearish fair value gap, and then a bearish order block pullback. So price action pulled back into the breaker structure, or sorry, it pulled back into the fair value gap and then the order block zone, and respected that area, of course. And then continuation for breaker structure, which gave me my entry, which I just entered. TP filled at key level, which I placed again my TP at a key level for second trade, which is where I expected price to either stop or continue at. Either way, that's where I expected price to go and hit my TP. P&L for that trade was $105.50, which total P&L was $287. What I did well today: respected bias and setups, waited patiently for confirmations before entering, executed 2 clean shorts with discipline, took profit at key levels, and avoided greed. What I will improve. Again, I have nothing to say, in my opinion at least. I really have nothing to say. And I know I've noticed that a couple of these trade journal entries, it's come to the point where the improvision part where I say what I will improve, it's come to the point where I keep mentioning TradingView, and no longer anything about me, either psychologically or just strategy, like strategic wise of my strategy setups and etc. So what I will improve, and this section says, learn TradingView mechanics better, limit order fills, order executions, and platform quirks. Notes: this week tested my patience and discipline, and I delivered gracefully. No major personal flaws today, only frustration with TradingView's execution system. Overall, a strong week with consistent application of my strategy and solid results. So, with the month ending, I've never done this before. First month account balance. We went from 50,000 and now we are sitting at 52,000. What? Where's my mouse cursor? That's not right. 1 second. That's incorrect. We're at $52,582. and 14 cents. So there should be a 5 right here. I mistyped. Anyway, first month account balance, we started at 50K to simulate a 50K funded account, and then now we're at $52,582.14. First month P&L, we're up $2,582.14, and we have a total of 13 wins, and that means 7 of our sessions were not losses. I did not lose this entire time, or the first month at least. I didn't lose this month at all. Essentially, it was either I missed trades, which I did I think once or twice, or days I just chose to not trade, days I didn't find an entry confirmation, or days where I couldn't enter due to mechanics, or just whatever reason. They just weren't losses. So 13 wins out of 7 that were, like I said, not bad. $2,582.14. That on a funded account would be $25,000, $821.40. My first 2 payouts, because I believe Top Step, which is where I want to go with my firm choice, that would have been, because they do bi-weekly, I believe, for Top Step, that would have been roughly $11,000 for a payout each, roughly, just an estimate here. It's probably like 13 or so, I don't know, but again, that would have been $11,000. But hold on. From my knowledge, I wouldn't have been able to get a payout or even pass an eval. So why? Because Top Step requires you during the evaluation process that you trade one time, at least one trade a day on individual days. So if I trade Monday through Friday, or whatever, I think, because market opens on Sunday as well. I have to look into this, but I'm pretty sure it's Monday through Friday. Top Step requires you to take one trade on those weekdays. Insane. So I wouldn't have even passed my eval. I would have made them a shit ton of money, and I wouldn't have even gotten a payout because I didn't pass an eval. But on a funded account, if I had passed an eval and I would have had the funded account and all that, I no longer had to worry about passing it. It was just a matter of fact of risk management and making sure I don't fail too bad that I close the account or get a max drawdown. My payouts would have looked insane, especially for first month, because it'd technically be second month, but you get the point. So insane. Either way, during assessment like this, demo trading, that's enough for me, in my opinion. I'm not a greedy person. I'm here to escape. That's $2,582.14. Now, that don't sound like much. That's basically how much I make right now at my job, working there. 4 days a week, 3 days a week, sometimes, alternating shift schedules, 12 hours a day. That's how much I make a month. It's a little off. It's a little more, I won't lie. But still, I basically made my monthly income off of a micro E-mini index, but on a demo. On a funded account, again, that would be almost my yearly salary. Not close even, not above it, just under. Because 25,000, whatever, 25,800, yada yada. It's not close to what I make salary. I make double that. So my goal is to make a little more than that. But hey, we're starting $25,000 a month. I would take it. But what am I saying? Yeah, $25,000 a month. What am I saying? Sorry, my brain's farting. Like I'm hungry, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah. I was thinking about, I was looking at the digits here, the 5 digits, okay? I'm looking at the 5-figure digits, $2,582, okay? I wasn't looking at 25,000, but 25,000 a month? Yeah, that's definitely more than what I make yearly. But 2,000, that's not even close. I mean, it's a little more, 2,500, it's a little more, but it's enough to make me quit my job if I was making that much consistently, you know? So I don't have to work. I'd be working at home and, you know, basically hoping that I could win every trade, but that's a little sketchy. I would basically really need a backup option if, you know, I end up having a losing streak of a whole month or 9 months, whatever. So anyway, trade journal entry is done. Let's just get into the charts, show you what happened and all that. I have it all placed out and everything, so I can do this. Oh my gosh, this looks crazy, man. The setup's all coming together. I got 3 monitors, webcam and everything. It looks insane. Okay, bet. So anyway, wow, why is it lagging like that? I'll have to close some of this. Reset, hop over to 5 minutes. CPU's at 32% usage, because why not, right? I think I can close this now. I'm gonna close it for now. Damn, 28%. All right, we're gonna have to struggle through this, but as you can see, we have our vertical lines marked out for 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., and then 6:30 a.m. Market open, and then pre-market, and then prep bias. So let's get into it. I'm gonna scale this up so we can see better. But like I said, as you can see, during prep bias, we have multiple key level taps of this bullish inverse fair value gap of this 4-hour key level or key time frame, whatever it is, from the 4-hour time frame. So as you can see, we tapped it a couple times, but we consolidated, so I don't know if I wanted to count that or not. And then during pre-market at 5:30 a.m., as you can see, we literally had an engulfing candle to the upside. Previously, this was a bullish fair value gap before it got invalidated. I'll get into that. Hold on. I don't know. I'm looking over here as if the camera's over here. I'm used to that, but like I said, we'll get into that. Anyway, as you can see, we basically break structure to the upside. Not really, almost. I would have considered it if it closed above this candle, but it only wicked above this. So I didn't really consider it as a break of structure to the upside. I only considered it as a key level tap of this 1-hour bearish fair value gap. Yeah, I really hate that OBS does that to my screen. I'm about to take off my webcam and show you what it does, because I can do that now. Anyway, marked out some SMT divergence. I unfortunately, I can just double click. I forgot. Sorry guys, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, it finally loaded. Anyway, if I close this tab, I think it will run a little faster. Nope. Anyway. So as you can see, I marked out a little of SMT. As you can see, you might be saying like, what, how is this SMT, bro? Look, there's a little bit of buying power here. Okay. This is slanting down. That's fine. But this is slightly up. If you look over here, this is down as well, but this is down. This tells me S&P was, trying to give more leverage into buy side, basically. This is what I know, okay? I might be saying this totally wrong, but still, I noted it and it worked for me. But if I am saying this correctly in terms of like terminology, then hey, cool. But yeah, this is what I noticed. I noted it, and it wasn't like really used as strong confluence, more as context in that point, because it is a lower time frame. I don't know. It's kind of debatable at that point, you know, like, do I really want to use it as confluence, or do I want to use it as context? Do I want to take a mental note? Yada yada. But either way, S&P and NASDAQ were following each other, as you can see. But then around here during New York Open, it did that. So I took a note of that. Anyway, let's get into it. As you can see, this area, I've had these circles area to show like the amount of times it tapped before I just gave up. But essentially, it tapped this line multiple times, and it's a bearish fair value gap from a 1-hour time frame. It's a higher time frame. Despite it being a 1 hour, it was respecting it. It respected the bullish fair value or inverse fair value gap. Kind of. It consolidated inside of it. Price was a little iffy here, indecisive. So that's why I had more reason to not take that as a key level tap for my step 2 confirmation or validation. Sorry. But this one was respecting it pretty well. Price wicked into this, trying to go above it, but failed. So that's almost literally, that's considered a full retrace. You wouldn't want it to close outside of this area. If it wicked outside, then that's telling you that we're most likely getting more, bullish intent here, more buy side power. But that's what I've learned, at least. I might be saying it wrong. I don't want to piss anybody off, but again, this is for me. I don't care what anybody says. So anyway, that's what I noted. And then during New York Open, as you can see, it did yada yada yada. So New York Open, we break structure to the downside. I did not think we were going to go past this purple line, which is liquidity, or this 4-hour key level line from a low. I was asking for it though. I was like, hey, if you give me my bearish bias, I would need you to do that. I literally said that out loud while sitting in the conference room at work. I was like, if you want to break structure, you're going to have to give me this right here. And then it ended up retracing a couple times. You can see consolidating and whatnot, especially in the 5-minute time frame. It did that a couple times, but it ended up doing what I wanted it to do. And then upon doing what I wanted it to do and needed to do for a bearish confirmation here of, all that, we get a bearish order block that's been filled. So, but a bearish order block, and then, break structure to the downside, and then we get all of this fair value gap, inverse fair value gap, fair value gap, all bearish. I did not hesitate one bit, because this fair value gap, bearish fair value gap forms. We retrace into it, right? Sweep some form of liquidity in this zone, right? There's a bullish order block in this zone too. Just wasn't strong enough to do anything about it, or price action wasn't. While we wick into this area, almost close above it and invalidate this entire thing. We wick above it. Now this liquidity line seems to be acting as resistance. I took note of that. Quickly, price retraced, gives a full retrace basically into this first bearish fair value gap, forming a bearish inverse fair value gap that was initially a bullish fair value gap that I had to wait to get invalidated, right? Why did I have to wait? Because that can mean one or two things. We have a bearish fair value gap and then a bullish fair value gap. What would that mean? So I know what that would mean, but still. Anyway, we invalidate it by moving down, showing retrace and respect from this bearish fair value gap, forming another bearish fair value gap. I wait for it to close, and when it hits this 1-hour key level, oh man, it was go time. Price literally taps the bottom of that bearish fair value gap. And what do you think it does? What do you think I did? I immediately entered my short, placed my take profit all the way down here. And this is the initial bearish inverse fair value gap that we were indecisive about during prep bias. So that's where I placed my TP. My stop loss was above all of this bearish imbalance, which is where I would have been invalidated if price had moved above it. And you would really want it here, but hey, this is where I placed it, so I didn't really expect price to go any higher. So I entered in time. We get this move down. I know it says 90 on here for closed P&L, but that's incorrect. But we've talked about this, man. TradingView is a weird platform, in my opinion. Anyway, during this move down, I was really considering on whether I wanted to either enter again or not. Now, the first trade, like I said, was good. Sorry, that's incorrect. But the first trade was good. I I could have just ended it off and been like, hey, not bad. Good everything. Could have had like a, I don't know. I don't know what the P&L would have been for the week. Probably like 400 or something. But hey, I was considering it. But then we formed all of this. We formed bearish, 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 bearish. And of course, this was initially bullish, but I waited for that retrace, right? Price retraces into it and extends past it. This wick right here, you can see it. You can see this wick. I was about to delete that, but I think you guys get the point. Get full retrace into these other ones. Full retrace. Well, not this one, but still. Get a full retrace into this one. Kind of wick past it, but we're also in a bearish inverse fair value gap from a 1 hour key time frame, I think. But I didn't really note that at that time. Oh, no, we weren't. It's still bullish. But either way, I wasn't considering that at that time. I was really looking at these imbalances and hoping for a retrace so that if I could get another entry, then I would. So what do? We move down, and I was like, okay, if it hits this 1 hour key level, I'm done for the day. That's it. Because if it moves from here all the way down here, I'm done for the day. Right? And this was all while I was waiting for my first TP to hit. I get my TP closure. As you can see, we extend a little bit past it. Now I'm waiting. We retrace slowly. We wick into this first bearish fair value gap into the inverse fair value gap. Despite wicking above the initial bearish fair value gap, we wicked into the inverse. So it doesn't count as buy side power no more. It's now just straight saying, this is basically an order block. This could be an order block in my opinion. But hey, order flow just went down. Price action just went down. Look at it. So after the retrace, right, go in, down, close, boom. Up. And the second we started moving down, all that, right, I was able to enter. I didn't even hesitate. I just knew. It wasn't risky or nothing. I placed my stop loss right above or right below this bearish fair value gap where I knew price wouldn't retrace into because we retraced fully. We gave a full retrace into this inverse fair value gap. If I wanted to go above here, then it would just go back down. And my risk management wouldn't have been, I wouldn't say loose enough, but reasonable enough. So either way, I placed it here. I wasn't risking too much. I was risking like $30 or something. So out of 188 or something like that, or 103. But I managed to get filled. I initially placed it here. So boom, got filled. I had a kind of panic button press that, you know, because it was either execute now or miss it. So I pressed it and then we started consolidating and we were moving slow a little bit at this time. And I was kind of scared. I was like, no way. I could be losing a lot here because if we go all the way down here and then up, I don't know how that works. I haven't seen it happen yet to me where it goes all the way down and then all the way up and hit my SL. I don't know how that would work. Would I be losing double the amount or would I just still be losing the amount I initially put my stop loss at? I don't want to learn that. I don't want to figure that out. Maybe I will maybe I will later today just to see what happens, you know, how that works. But anyway, I got a little scared because we were retracing, right? Getting a little too close. Either way, it would have been a free retrace right here into this bearish fair value gap, but I wouldn't know what that means because we were already starting to consolidate a little bit too much. Anyway, move down, retrace a little bit, retrace in, boom. This took a while to hit actually. It was scary because we were up here. It was literally like that. So that was cool. We got that. And then I was kind of about to get greedy, but I was like, hey, I don't care. I'm not going to trail my TP. It's right there. I'm going to let it hit. And the week off with 2 solid wins. And the month off with 2 more solid wins. I'm good. And I almost got extra greedy thinking, hey, if we retrace into this zone, as you can see, it essentially did later and then moved down. But I wanted it to be sooner. I wanted it to be around this zone, basically. I wanted to be in this area for that retrace, for me to put another take profit down here, here, or here. I didn't do it though. It was around this section when I decided, hey, that's enough for me. Close it out and got in my car and went home. So that was basically it. And yeah, price action is let's see. Oops. Let's see how we doing. Chop, chop, chop. That's all we do. Consolidate. That's all we ever do. So I'm gonna close that out now. I don't gotta look at that anymore. And I gotta fix this before I show it. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, finish loading. Let me scoot in there a little bit. So this is my Google Sheets. Where's my mouse? Oh, it's all the way over here. What the hell? Here's my Google Sheets, and this is basically looking at my total monthly P&L. I've been tracking this since basically third week from last week, and as you can see, we got all of it. I don't know what happened here. What the hell? 22nd? That'd be trade 15. Oh, because that was Powell. Okay, I was like, wait, what? When did I not trade on a Friday? Okay, that makes sense. That's fine. Okay. So anyways, you can see my monthly P&L here. And then we got all of it calculated. All of it. I mean, if I go like this, 287, I have to remember that. If I go, as you can see, it changed to net P&L, but that wouldn't make sense. That would never happen. You would have to be really rich and a lot of capital. Anyway. So this is my net P&L for the whole month, $2,582.69. And then for E-mini, I would have made $25,826.90. My run rate is 1, I guess. I don't know what that means. I honestly had ChatGPT code all of this and do it for me. So I don't know what win rate means. I have 13 wins and 0 losses and all that. So as you can see, first week was not bad. Third week was not bad. I think I got a little, or second week was not bad. Besides no trades on 2 days here. And as you can see, there's a little pattern. A little pattern I'm starting to notice. Something to be very careful of, especially with the strategy I'm using that is based off of TGR, the one he gave. So I'm using TGR strategy, the free version. So what do we notice using the strategy and the setups? Well, Monday, first week, right? Oops, whoa, don't do that. First week, we have 4 trades total. Okay, not bad, but we missed 1. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Now, I'm going to make an educated guess here. But I already have September set up. First week of September is going to be, it's going to be no trade, 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 trade. But we might not get a trade, right? Who knows? We have 2 trades here on a Friday. No trade, trade. So this is what I'm thinking. No trade, 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 trade. No trade, no trade, 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 no trade. Weird, huh? This is just what I'm starting to I'm trying to spot the pattern here. I'm trying to see, what I can really do, or basically what the charts can give me. But this is what I'm noticing in terms of patterns within trading sessions. First week, no trade. Second week, no trade. Third week, no trade. And then fourth week, coincidentally, we don't get a trade on either days. Now, hold on. So I think the second week, these 2 days, I didn't trade purposely because I decided to sleep in. I think so. So I'll really have to put this to the test. But now that I have this Google Sheets set up, we'll see. But either way, this is just to show my monthly P&L for August on a micro E-mini contract. And then I have my net P&L for the month for the micro E-mini, which is mine. And then I have what I would have made on a funded account if I was funded, if I was profitable, or not profitable, but funded. You know, profitable is one thing, but this is how much I would have made. Okay. So I can take this down now. Thanks. And then we can bring this up and then cam only. Let's close this too. All right. It's time to have a little talk. It's time to talk. I've made my decision on whether I will be finishing off only 30 trades and going for a funded, or going for 100 trades and then going for a funded. But I have to analyze first whether I can do it. So if I make 30 trades, if I finish 30 trading sessions and they're all good, no issues, strategic wise, setups, just no flaws in my setup strategy and psychologically, you know, all that. Flaws in terms of trading view mechanics, that will have to get fixed like that. And I'll be doing my best over the weekend, because it's not like, oh, the month ended, I can take a 3-week break. No, we literally start again. We start next month in like 2 days, basically. For me, it's going to be, 2 days for me. For usual normal people that have day shift and whatnot, wake up in normal times like this, it'll be like 3 days. But anyway, so let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about where I'm at, you know, mentally, my mindset. I want to compare I want to compare from where I was at in the beginning of all this, my first trading session till now. I want to talk about everything. I want to talk basically a monthly summary of where I'm at, in my opinion. So let's get into it. This is going to be a long video. It's a monthly end, so of course it's going to be long. It's my first month ending. I honestly realize you can see everything. It's not a mess in here. Relax. Anyway. Oh yeah, I got this new rug too. I bought it and it came in. I got new rug, new shower curtain, new shower liner, new shelf for the shower. It's like suction cup, but it's like adhesive suction cup, so it like sticks really hard. Sorry, but I got all that for my shower and bathroom, so now I don't have to like put like towels all over the floor, because you know I don't make that much a month and my rent is kind of like evened out to like break even in terms of trading terminology. So if I make $2,500 a month, just think of break even for, that's basically how much, break even is basically how much I spend a month to live here in total. That includes utilities, food, all that, gas, all that shit. Yeah, I have nothing left over. Anyway, I don't care. We're gonna make it out of here. So, man, let's just talk. Before I do that, let me pause this real quick so that I can get some water and get some nicotine. All right, we're back. Anyway, so let's just have a little chat. Where am I at mentally? Where is my mindset? How do I feel psychologically going through all of this? You know, every single, basically for me, every night, but for you guys, it'd be every morning. But how do I feel about all this? confident. Confident in a way where it's not cocky. Sorry, it's my bed liner. I don't have comforters. I'm broke. Anyway, but yeah, I'm confident in a way where it's like I'm not cocky, you know? It's not like ego. It's more like the first week proved to me that this is real, you know? And of course, like some people might say like, dude, it's always been real. I don't know that. I don't know if some 21-year-old trying to sell me a $3,000 course is just trying to make his money. How am I supposed to know that? I don't know if anybody else on TikTok bribing or bragging is getting bribed to say, oh, yeah, it works. It's real. Yeah, buy his course. Oh, yeah, do it. Figure out yourself. Yeah, I don't know if it's even worth my time. I had made a promise to myself the beginning of this year in January that if I had figured out if day trading was real or not, that I would essentially commit to it fully. Why did it take me so long from January to watch a 55 playlist video from a boot camp of TGR to finish by July, basically? 55 videos, one a day, would be a month and a half. Basically 1.9 months, give or take. So why did it take me so long? It took me so long because I was unsure, I wasn't committed, and I wasn't disciplined. But overall, it wasn't any of that. It was just the fact that I was unsure whether it was worth it or not. I didn't want to put all my time into something, especially with everything I had going on during that time, and put all my effort and energy into something that wasn't going to work. And it was just all a fraud, basically a hoax, you know, just to sell a bunch of courses to a bunch of, you know, uneducated young teens and young adults. But I committed to it near the end from May all the way to July. I finished the boot camp. I watched the whole 5-hour video of basically the summarized version of his boot camp, which was him just explaining his confluences and how they worked in a very simplified way. I watched that. Why did I watch that extra 5-hour video? I watched it because I wanted to see if he left anything out, which he did leave some things out. He explained things a little differently. And basically a simplified version can be a little better understanding in my terms sometimes. And whatever I learned, I took from it. I took down a lot of notes, and it's all in my notebook. Right here. Day trading, notes, futures, my signature. So I didn't fully commit to it. Sorry, I got mucus, man. But I didn't fully commit to it because back in May, I wasn't sure whether it was real or not. In June, I had first moved into this apartment. So I've been living here for at least a month and a half now, 2 months maybe, give or take, whatever. I had no friends, and now I have a lot of friends. Trust me, I have like 6 or 8 very close day ones and whatnot. You know, I've known them since I was a kid, and we all grew up in the neighborhood. I've known them for like 13 years or something, 10 years, 7 years, I don't know. I've known them for a couple years. And we're all young adults. We're all older now. It's not like we're teens and we can just run around and have a good day and not worry about taxes. You know, it's not 2016 where things were so vibrant anymore. But everybody was busy. Nobody had time to hang out. And it's not like I wanted to do any of that. It just made me realize, like, hey, this is going to be the rest of your life if you don't pick up the slack now. I moved into this apartment with no money. Not a single dollar in my bank account besides the amount I saved up for deposit or the security deposit and first month's rent. I couldn't touch any of the extra money. For the entire month of July, because I moved in here June 24th, for the entire month of July, I was eating only ramen. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I'm broke. I'm 21 years old. I went to welding school for about a year last year, only to basically not even pursue that career. It affected my health too fast, and I noticed it too quickly. I'm not the type to ignore my health. I'm very cautious about it. But it affected me too much. Not only physically, but also mentally. I'd come home exhausted, only from an 8-hour shift, working literally Monday through Saturday, having one day off. Just exhausted, covered in filth. All my clothes were getting dirty and all that. I smelled like Duke all the time. I mean, I never had time to do anything for myself on my day offs, and the times that I were off after work, it was just never like I had enough time to do anything else. I would work from 5 a.m. all the way to 3 p.m. Like, dude, I had no time. I had no time to go to the gym, and every time I went to the gym, I would need to nap after work to go to the gym because I just had no energy. I had no time to make food. I had no time to eat anything. I had no time to even do anything after gym. It would basically be work, gym, sleep, work, gym, sleep, repeat. And I would have to try my best to fit in eating. It seemed like eating was at that point a chore. Like, it was just so inconvenient to eat at that point. I'm not a tall guy. I'm average height. I'm like 6 foot. A healthy weight for someone my height, 6 foot, would be 150 up, 160 plus, 155 pounds, whatever. Just 155 or 150 pounds and up, That's a healthy, decent weight for somebody my height. I have been 6 foot since I was 17. I have been 115 pounds since I was 18. I managed to get 160 pounds, 155 exactly, give or take, Last year during Texas when I was in school, because all I had to do was school, gym, and that's it. And I was living off of my mom's money, but she was barely even able to afford it. Like, literally, she was scraping by out here while I was out there. So we were both struggling. I couldn't get a job. I had no car. I was on probation. And I was just basically stuck. So what I'm trying to say is, the past couple of years of my life, I've been working since I was 16. I turned 16 very, very quick. Not your average Joe. I turned 16 and I'm an August baby. I'm a very late August baby. I'm August 21st. So I just turned 21. When I turned 16, everybody was still 15. So when I first got my job, I was one of the few that had a job in my school. One of the few first to have a job. I've been working since I was 16 years old. And that's normal to a lot of people. But to me, it's not. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I had dreams to get rich when I was 18, 16. No. Money has been a problem since I was 3 years old. I was homeless for 2 years with my mother and sister. From 3 years old to 5 years old, got sent to Vietnam. I got sent to Vietnam during my own childhood. I barely gained consciousness. I didn't even remember what my mom looked like, who she was. Didn't have a good relationship with her growing up for sure. I mean, I wasn't even around her. How could I remember any of that? All I knew was she took care of me. So I grew up thinking these people around me were just caretakers, placements, all that. In Vietnam, for all I could remember was from 5 years old to 7 years old. Came back. I was there for 3 years, basically. 5 to 8 years old. Sorry, I was there for 3 years. Came back, forgot English because you send a kid that barely gained consciousness, can't even really talk like that. He only knows like, oh, food, hungry, mommy. And you send that motherfucker to what? Vietnam? So things have been rough. I used to sell these little toys in Vietnam for a couple dollars because I never got money like that in Vietnam from my grandparents, which is who were taking care of me. We just didn't have money like that in general in Vietnam. I was living in the south side of Vietnam, and I'm a southern Vietnamese guy. It's in me genetically. What I'm trying to say is money has been a problem since I was 3 years old, way before I even had consciousness. And even when I gained consciousness and all that, I was on a plane with my sister and my aunt. And I was like, where the fuck am I? That's literally all I remember. The first time my brain ever clicked. The first time they flipped that switch in my brain, I went, where am I? Deadass. I put that on everything. But money has always been a problem. Whether it's 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old me selling toys, growing up, seeing my first Mercedes and falling in love with it, dreaming of being a NASCAR racer and then being an F1 racer, just having such high dreams, dreams that cost so much money. It costs a lot of money to be in NASCAR. It costs a lot of money to be in F1. Dreams to be a YouTuber, dreams to be an influencer, dreams to be an entrepreneur, dreams to own a business. All my dreams growing up, all my long-term end goals have always been the result of not having money. All I want is to be successful. And growing up, knowing what I knew, learning what I learned, becoming a teacher was not going to be successful to me. Being a police officer wasn't going to be successful to me. Being a lawyer didn't even mean success to me. I was striving for something much farther and greater than my own self at that time. So look, why am I saying all this? What does any of this mean? Who is going to see this? Nobody. For all I know, no one's going to see this. For all I know, I will take this to heart because I'm able to express it and know that, to me, I'm doing my best. I've been doing my best since I was 16. And from 16 till now, I've tried a lot of things to try to make a lot of money, not be successful, not have, income in a way where it's like, oh, I made $40,000 in a month. No, it's things like trying to make at least $6,000 a month, $10,000 a month. That first 10K will always be your hardest, and that's what I learned, and even realized and got backed up on through TikTok. A bunch of those TikToks saying, oh, your first 10K is going to be the hardest, and then your first 100K will be the easiest. But that's what I realized. I don't know why it keeps auto-focusing. It's kind of pissing me off, but it's always just been hard, man. Seeing people around you have the things that you wish you could always have, never having the money, And as a kid, you would want your parents to buy you things and do things for you, and I was like that at some point, but when I started working at 16, it's like I started trying to do more for myself and be independent, and also because of the relationship I had with my own mother. But we just didn't have it like that. she had all this money in the bank for sure. You know, after I came back from Vietnam, she had all this money I didn't even know of until I was like 15 or 16. But she's very stingy and conservative, you know. It's like, imagine I raised you for when you were just born until now, whatever age you were. Imagine I raised and provided for you all these years, but you find out I have all this money and I'm stingy with it. Hey, bro, can you give me like $2? Nah. You got to become homeless first. Like, bro, I'm asking for like $2. Let me get some food. I'm struggling. I'm 16. Why do I got to learn what it's like to be homeless first? I'm a pretty aware guy. My psychology goes deeper than what you see. I'm more than what you can perceive on the surface, and I promise you that. Why do you think my monthly P&L right now during assessment is as good as it is? Trading, in my opinion, and what I've realized, is 90 to 99% psychology. Dead ass. I'm so serious. It's what I've realized. You can have the best strategy in the world. And I've looked on TikTok. I've scrolled so much. I've seen multiple YouTube videos. I've seen it all on comments and all that. You can have the absolute best strategy in the world. One that is even worth gatekeeping. But I promise you, if you don't have what it takes up here to manage what you see on there, you will not win. You will not be profitable. Promise you 100,000%. I am betting on that. I will bet on black for that. This is no joke. So, why am I saying all this? The point is, for years, my whole life, it's been all about money to me. Always. And of course, I've had relationships with, said women and whatnot. I've had friendships and whatnot. And I've enjoyed, of course, my teenage years. It wasn't just all ponder about how to become billionaire by 30. No. It was just more of a mental note, like, hey, every day I'm wondering, like, when will my time come? So what's my point in all this? What am I getting at? Again, for years, it's always been a problem. Money. And to me, it wasn't just money like, oh, I want to be rich quick. I want to get rich right now. I want $1 million car. No, it was more about success. Everybody dreams about being rich. For me, I dreamed about being rich first, but at a young age, definitely in my preteens, I dreamed of becoming successful. I stepped out of that rich mindset and I wanted to be successful. I learned about what assets were, and that's all I thought about. I want assets. I learned about businesses, and that's all I wanted. I learned about liquid. That's all I wanted. I literally learned so much growing up about just what it means, what the term success means. And to me, success means having passive income constantly coming in. And the income, you can have passive income coming in at like $5,000 a month. Does that mean you're successful? To you, if that's successful to you, then hallelujah. Congratulations, you are. But to me, success looks like making $1 million a year. Bare minimum. Not $900K a year, not $998,000 a year, not $999,000 a year, not $999,000 a year and $999. No. 1 million on the dot or more. Bare minimum. That's what success looks like to me in terms of, salary. I want that. I want to never have to worry ever again. Seeing how I was raised, seeing how my mother had to grow up and how she had to handle 2 kids on her own, seeing what I had to go through, seeing what other people have gone through, especially because, I don't live in Portland. I don't live in like the greatest parts of Oregon even. I live in Hillsboro, it's a suburban area, but still it shows its darkest truths and times. And you can go in parts of Hillsboro and realize, damn, bro, this is not it. It's not like Compton or something. I never said that. I'm just saying, like, you can really see what low income means when you go to said parts. I've seen it all. And even in Texas, I've seen it more. In Vietnam, I've seen it enough. What I've gone through, what my family have gone through, what my friends have gone through, and what the people I've met have gone through, and in general, what I've seen people go through is enough. Enough for me to say, I never want my kids to ever have that problem. I never want my kids to have to worry about this. Everything you see back here looks nice and stuff. These monitors, all that. If you could see this all, you'd be like, oh, this is not bad. Financially, I'm struggling, and I never want my kid to have to worry about that. Of course, I'm not going to babysit. Of course, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, here, son. Here's a $100,000 car. It's your first car. I know you're 16, but hey, it's whatever. No. I want to have the resources that I can provide. I want to be able to provide to my wife, if I ever have a wife, kids, if I ever have kids, family of my own, to make sure that they're good. My wife never has to work again, and my kids will never have to worry if the electricity is going to go out. Are we going to be warm this winter? Are we going to be cool this summer? Am I going to have enough clothes? Is there going to be dinner? Am I going to have food tomorrow? Oh. Am I going to have the things I need to do? What if I want to go to college when I grow up? What if I have some business ideas, Dad? Where do I get the money? That's my goal. Now, I'm not saying day trading is going to get me there. Never said that. It could. But again, you never make your 5 to 9 your main job. You work a 9 to 5 to fund the 5 to 9 to get the 5 to 9 to enjoy the rest of your life. Doesn't mean you work the 5 to 9 for the rest of your life to enjoy the rest of your life. You make the 5 to 9 and enjoy the rest of your life. That's for me. I have some crazy plans with day trading as for futures. I don't plan on getting into Forex, options, or whatever. Crypto, maybe. Might just invest my money into Bitcoin and let it be. But as of right now, I have some really crazy long-term plans. During the boot camp, TGR made you list like 5 long-term goals and then like 10 short-term goals to reach those long-term goals. I did all that, but I have one thing I listed. End game goal. The end game. Long-term is like 30, 40s for me. 50s even, maybe pushing it. But end game for me is retirement. Being able to just sleep in all day, do whatever I want. At that point, I would already have kids, wife, house, enough money to just flip off the majority of the world, for sure. So, that's where I'm at. I'm confident this is going to work. I've tried a lot of things since I was 16 to try to make $10,000 at least a month. And a lot has failed. I even got into drop shipping. Didn't work. I just didn't see why I would try to get rich off selling things to people. That means I would rely on customers coming back or new customers. although it works, some people have built a really good Shopify store. I am just not good at something like that, in my opinion. I could get good at it. I'm just not trying to invest money into ads or products and whatnot and all that. No. I've known about trading, not trading, but I've known about stocks basically since I was like 13 when I had my first, access to the internet. Seeing a chart for the first time and all that. And of course, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I've been passionate about day trading since I was 13. Relax. I've just said I've known about it. I was intrigued by it when I was 15, all the way till I was basically, 20, 19, especially last year. So when I was 19. Yeah, I've been intrigued about it. I've heard a lot about it since I was 15 till I was 19, and I just was always skeptical. Always thought it was a hoax. Always thought it was some type of, scam, whatnot. And it just made me realize, not now, but it just, back then this month, I realized, like, if I started back then, I could be in a whole different spot right now. But that also means I would have never experienced the things I did from 15 till now. Anyway, that's enough yapping about trauma. Sorry, but let's get to the point. How do I feel about all of this? Where am I at mentally, psychologically, and my mindset right now on all of this? Like I said, confident, but not cocky, not egotistical. I'm confident. I'm so confident. Confident in myself. Confident in my strategy and my setups. I trust my setups more than ever right now. I trust my strategy more than ever right now. And more importantly, I trust myself. Everything I went through, and I'm not going to trauma dump anymore, but everything I went through from, the day I gained consciousness till now, everything I've gone through since my childhood till now has had a major negative impact on my mental and emotional health. Horrible. And I'll get into that in another day. But right now, I'll just say it was horrible. But it seems like it's starting to benefit me with trading. And I'm realizing that a lot. This is something people have problems with, when they do an assessment or when they start out funded, It seems like that's something that a lot of people struggle with starting out. And I'm over here acing it, which is something someone will say, like, oh, you're cherry picking, you're a liar, you sell courses. Oh, this was promised and entrusted to him 2,000 years ago. Oh, bro, shut up. Shut up. I'm working hard for this. I'm going hard at it I'm giving this my all. I'm so serious. I might not be giving it my full 110%, but I'm giving it, I'm sure I'm giving it 100%. 100. I'm trying to maintain my job out here in the physical world while trying to learn how to escape from that own job on this damn screen. Meanwhile, trying to make sure I'm not going to starve to death because I can't even afford groceries right now. I can't even buy food to cook with. I literally microwave all my food because why is it $80 for just one pan the size of my face? Anyway, I'm confident though. I'm confident in myself and the strategy and my setups. I'm confident that I can continue doing great, which is what I've been doing. I trust myself more than ever right now. And I trust trading. Like the first week is when I realized this is real. Why did I realize that? How did I realize that? Well, using the strategy, forming those setups, all those confluences just stacking on top and just forming my bias and giving me execution entries and whatnot. Oh man. That was enough to make my heart race. That was the best adrenaline rush I had ever gotten. That first week, the best yet. Where I was on the first day and now, in my opinion, I'm not going to say little has changed. I'm not going to say a lot has changed. Maybe a lot has, and I tend to raise the bar from here, do this, raise it, do this, and you see how I'm not touching it? I'm just raising it. That's it. That's all I do. And I never touch it. I continue to raise my standards for myself because I believe I can do better. I believe I can do more. So maybe I'm over exaggerate or not, under exaggerating, Oh, just pulled my own headphone cord. But point is, from day 1 to day 20, in my opinion, a decent amount has changed. Especially, I was very nervous, full of anxiety, scared to take a trade, didn't know how it worked, didn't even know how orders and limit orders work, market orders, stop orders. I knew about take profit and stop loss, but, I didn't know how entries work, slippage, all that, volume, volatility. I don't even think I knew about news or anything like that. Just so much has changed, honestly. Yeah, a lot has changed. Discipline was kind of the same, but I definitely got more disciplined throughout my trades, especially second week and then especially last week, which is the third week, and especially now. I was risking a lot the first 2 weeks, which is, I guess, kind of fair, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, let's disregard it. I'm just saying it's fair because I was excited and all that, but I wasn't risking to the point, like, my risk management wasn't to the point where it was like, I'm risking an unbelievable, unrealistic amount. I was just, doing too many contracts and too many trades in 1 week sessions. So I even made a promise to myself that I would scale that down a bit and be more, I guess, risk management. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm going to get into that in a bit. Anyway, so again, overall, I'm in a good mindset. Clearly, I'm in a good mindset. I feel really good about this and all that. I have a full monthly chart of greens, literally 13 wins, a P&L of 2,500. I mean, dude, it can't get any better than this, but here's the part where we have to get careful. I took all of my trading journal entries from my first trade till today, and I had ChatGPT analyze it with an unbiased opinion. That means I asked for it to give me honest, crucial, and critical, feedback on where I'm at. Basically just point out flaws and all that, basically everything. Just analyze me. And my trading journal entries are honest, complete honest. I only leave things out that don't need to be, analyzed or mentioned unless I mention it on here, you know? Anyway, point is, I had ChatGPT analyze all of my trade journal entries, you know, my 20 trade journal entries so far. And it basically gave me the reply I was expecting and already knew. I have no major flaws besides mechanic issues with TradingView platform. Those seem to be the only issues. Why is it such a big issue? Why not just simulate a trade? You know, take the long position tool or short position tool from TradingView on the side and just enter. Just click. You don't have to make the money. It's a psychological thing and a confidence thing. If I'm trying to enter a limit order, but I can't get filled because the platform's being weird, that's going to piss me off because I'm going to feel like I'm about to miss a trade. That's going to cause me to make, you know, decisions in that moment, you know, even after getting an entry validation. Who knows? Maybe I'm too busy looking at how the fuck I'm going to get into this damn entry, get filled. Maybe I'm too busy looking at all that, and maybe it's a whole fucking reversal. Maybe it's a whole fake out. That's the issue. And that's just one example. TP getting taken too quick, not getting registered, SL getting filled out of nowhere even though we're going the correct way. I mean, what's going on? Even though when TP gets filled, it's not even registering. Why? Need to figure that out quick. I figured out how to take entries on my phone, so that's no longer an issue. But the main issue is platform mechanics and how order entries work on TradingView. I can't find a single fucking video that explains it simply enough. I mean, they're talking about, hey guys, today we're looking at this chart and I'm going to basically, you know, be taking, bro, just get to the point. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be explaining to you how limit orders work, market orders work, and stop orders work on TradingView. All right, so let's get right into it. So a limit order, like, just get into it, bro. Why are you talking about fucking charts and shit? You titled the fucking video how to use limit orders on TradingView, but you're talking about a chart, analyzing it. Shut up, bro. I don't need a whole analysis. I don't need your strategy set up and shit. I don't need proof. Just show me how to do the entry and how it works. Damn, bro. Anyway, I can't find a single video of, like I said, but I'll try to figure it out on my own throughout this week or weekend, and you know, just do it on my own. And when I figure it out, I'll let you guys know, so you don't have to go through what I just said. But yeah, that's the main flaw right now. That's the only flaw, other than, you know, ChatGPT is encouraging me to start listing my risk reward ratio. I don't know what that is. I mean, I mentioned it already. I know about it a little bit, but I don't know how it works. And I'm more lost now after having ChatGPT explain it, even though I asked for it to dumb it down. And afterwards, I still don't understand. So risk reward ratio is weird. I place my TPs just fine. I place my SLs at invalidation spots. You know, it's not like I'm just going, oh, my stop loss $1,000 and take profit $30. Yay! No, bro. It's like I'm doing everything correctly, in my opinion. You know, I'm being risk management enough, in my opinion. You know, it's not like I'm putting TP and then moving it back. It's more like I'm putting TP and moving it forward so I can extend profits. But ChatGPT is trying to encourage me to journal now my RR. What was that? Journal my risk reward ratio, and then journal my, like, where I enter and where I like basically the price, like where I enter on price, where I take profit on price, where I stop loss on price, like basically all that. like basically also like telling me like, oh, go for a 1.5 RR or 1.5 RR, whatever. Or sometimes go for a 2 RR. And then, you know, if you do 2 contracts, make sure your SL is never $60 or, you know, $60 or more. You know, all this and that. I was like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, and it was like recommending me to like go for like $90 per trade at least, which is TP, how much I want to win, and then telling me to risk $60, which is 1.5 RR, all this and that. And if I scale up to 2 contracts, make sure I never reach 90 or never go above $90 for take profit, and then never go under stop loss for $60. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the point if I'm going to go 5 contracts, let's say, and then on 1 contract, if I put $90 TP here, that's up here. On 5 contracts, if I enter here and TP's here for 1 contract, 5 contracts, that'd be like here. So what's the point? In my opinion, I thought contracts were meant to, like, you know, give you more shares, you know, like per entry. But I don't know, dude. I don't know if I'm going to actually consider that. I'll look into it and see how that all works. But the way it was explaining like point systems and calculating the math, it was just so confusing. Like, it was disorienting by the least. So other than that, that's the only thing it kind of like, I guess, advised me in terms of like flaws, I guess. I mean, I show where I take my entries. I show where I take my profits. I show where I take my stop loss, all that. It's not like I'm just, you know, guessing here. But yeah, that's basically it for the analysis. Everything, like, it was basically telling me I'm doing great. I'm basically more disciplined than 97% of beginners. So I made it to top 3% somehow. I don't know if I'm top 3 or top 1, but I'm definitely top 1. I'll tell you that. But that's an accurate, like, that, or not accurate, but that's a crazy number to pick, 97%. But yeah, that's what it said. I'm 97% more disciplined than most beginner traders. And it said, it also said that I've gone from beginner, and I'm now, like, if this edge of the screen is beginner, I'm the middle of advanced beginner, and then this is intermediate. I'm more in this zone, is what it said. So I'm like end zone of advanced beginner is what it said. Moving towards intermediate now. So crazy. I'm doing great is what it's saying basically. I'm very disciplined, more disciplined than usual. I know when to, you know, not take trades. I know when to call it a day, all that. I know how to analyze charts very well, especially. I went from using only 5 minute. I went from only using 4 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame, 5 minute time frame, and 1 minute time frame to using 1, 3, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour time frames. I mean, that's all in a month. Who knows what's going to happen in 2 months? As in next month. Who knows what's going to happen in another month? When I have 2 months to get better, what do you think is going to happen? If I take 20 trades a month, that's 1 trade a day, 5 days a week. What do you think is going to happen by December? Where do you think I'll be at? Now, I don't want to get cocky here. I don't want to sound egotistical. I'm just saying. I'm aware of where I'm at. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what could happen. If I'm not careful enough, if I'm not aware of anything I see on the charts, if I don't be patient, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to lose. But what happens if I do exactly what I keep doing? I'll let you find out. But That's what ChatGPT said in terms of the analysis for me. And I kind of expected that kind of response. I expected that result. So we're doing good. Doing great. And what am I going to do now? Well, our first month, a little rocky. Even though I didn't lose any trades, it seems to be mostly psychological and mechanic issues. Understanding, the platform itself, what I'm using, and understanding how I feel when I'm on the charts. So again, psychological and mostly mechanic issues on platform. Why is this such a big issue? It's not like you're going to go from, it's not like you're going to use TradingView when you're funded. They have their own platforms that they use, and it's probably better, is probably what someone would say. If I'm having mechanic issues right now, and it seems like everybody somehow understands how it works just by fucking living, I guess, because no one even explains it like it's a big impact. Like, oh, guys, limit order, that's it. That's it? Why is it all problems for me? What? Am I just the outcast? Am I the runt? Am I the runt that's doing so good? Am I the runt with the brain? What is happening? Anyway, point is, sorry, I'm so tired and hungry, but the point is, if I'm having so many problems with platform mechanics from first, second week, whatever, till now, what do you think is going to happen when I'm funded? Or what happens when I try to get an eval? What happens when I'm in an eval and it's like using a whole different platform? I don't know what platform it's going to use. Maybe it's using TradingView. Maybe it's using something else for, execution on orders. What's going to happen then? What if I don't know how it works? I try to take a limit order thinking it's a little better. Oh, maybe it'll just fill me when it touches the line like it's supposed to. Nope. We're going past it. Now you missed a trade. Bye-bye. Yeah, no. I have to figure this out now. I need to see how orders work and execution orders work on TradingView so that I could be prepared. Because again, this whole assessment thing is for preparation of the eval. Not being funded, the eval. To pass the eval. Me being profitable is all up to me. Me being consistent and, reputable is all up to me. It's all up to me after that. But this is all to make sure I can pass the eval. So I need to figure that out. Psychological. What do I mean by that? Sometimes I hesitate. Sometimes I procrastinate. Sometimes I avoid. That's what it said. Avoidance. What does that mean? I'm not avoiding good A tier setups. I'm not expecting S tier setups even. Nor am I expecting even A plus setups. Sometimes, if I have an A setup, A grade setup, I'll take the trade. If I have an A plus setup, I'll take the trade, but I might up the contracts, or I might take 2 trades. 1 contract each, like today. If I have an S tier setup, I am going to damn near basically full port that thing. Not literally, but I'm going to be looking at a higher profit rate than usual. Like the other week, my $543 win. That is something to remember. Days like that, is when I'm going to take my trades. But what does it mean by avoidance? Maybe my procrastination and hesitation is the fact that I'm scared to lose. Of course I am scared to lose. Because if I lose, I feel like, in my opinion here, in all honesty, I feel like if I lose, not only am I breaking the streak, but also they'll say something about the setup or strategy. That's what I feel like it's going to say if I lose. It might not mean that. It might just mean like, oh, I was too impatient. But that's what I feel like. So my fear of losing and the streak is now taking a toll like I expected it to. I I'm hoping I lose in September. Not because I was impatient or anything, but an honest, genuine flaw that I need to actually work on. But that's pretty much it. I don't really want to lose for like being impatient or taking a wrong entry. If it's a wrong entry, then clearly I need to make sure like to double check and it's a right entry. But if it's, I want a bigger flaw, you know, I want a more bigger, genuine flaw to look at and be like, oh, I should probably do this instead so that this won't happen again. So this is what's been happening. That's why this has been doing this. And that's why I probably missed some trades here and there. Oh, I remember back in August. It's not that I didn't get an execution entry. I just didn't notice this at the time. Now I know. Okay. It's kind of things like that. But I think for me, more psychological standpoint that I need to improve is my procrastination and hesitation. Sometimes I'll see an execution for my entry, where I get validated like, oh yeah, you can enter here now. Go ahead, Kay, go ahead. I kind of like wait. I like hesitate and procrastinate whether, okay, is this going to go the way I want? Should I? I could lose. I could win. Who knows? I've been working on that. Today I did good at that. I waited for retraces. I went for pullbacks and just basically wanted more extra confirmation. And it's not like I'm waiting for like 10 like confluences. I'm just waiting for at least one or two that are like really good confluences, like break of structure, inverse, or fair value gap. And that's basically what I use for pullback and retrace for continuation. Now, that's basically it. All that I could really say. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes. Damn. But that's where I'm at in terms of this whole month so far. Where am I at for next month? What do I feel like? Well, kind of scared. I know, shocking. Why wouldn't I be excited? Well, like I said, we're on a streak. We're on a 13-win streak. We have full green month, not a full green week, a full green month. September, we might get rate cuts, but everybody's leaning towards no rate cuts. Why would we do rate cuts during an all-time high of price? Wouldn't make sense. That's what I heard from somebody on TikTok. That's not my own words. It's what I heard from also on Forex Factory, not my own words. So it's people talking about it now. We're expecting no rate cuts. I'm still trying to figure out what it means, like if we have rate cuts or not. So sorry if I mess it up, but if that happens, we might be over with our bull run in the charts. That means we might be going bearish now. We might be looking towards more bearish setups and all that. We might have more consolidation. We might have more indecision, more than we have now. September could be scary. Summer's over. I don't know. I'm just making excuses here. But September could be scary, though. That's the truth. With not only news and the potential of impact news has in September, but also where I'm at in September, like psychologically, of course. And overall, even if I do good on a trade and if I end up getting SL hit somehow, even if my bias was correct, then I lost a trade. That counts as a loss. If my bias is bullish, let's say, and I enter long, but price action decides to hit stop loss and then reverse back up, that's on me. That's a loss. And I'll take that when it happens. What does it mean, though? If a loss happens anytime during September, it could break the streak, and I've been trying to mentally, but also emotionally prepare for how I'm going to feel when that happens. I'm trying to prepare to be okay with it. I'm just hoping it's not something insignificant and stupid. But yeah, that's where I'm at with September. I'm kind of scared, but other than being scared, also kind of excited for sure, of course. I want to see what I learned. I mean, I've learned so much this month, man. I've learned how to use different time frames. I've learned, how to stack confluences to take execution orders. I've learned to, be patient, disciplined. I've learned and realized and recognized how disciplined I am, how psychologically prepared I am for, this line of work and whatnot. It's just, I'm at an all-time high myself. But what happens when we're at an all-time high on charts? Because if I'm trading charts, I become the charts myself. Scary. All right, sorry, but that's where I'm at though. So what time is it? Oh, 10:17. But yeah, I'm tired. I think I've spoken enough. I don't want to say too much anymore in terms of like repeating myself, but that's not only the 20th trading journal entry, but that's wrapping up our first month and our first green month. I'm not going to repeat my trading journal entry or monthly anything. You can just read in the description. So 2,500 though, first month, not bad. Onto ICT mentorships, ladies and gents. We are now onto ICT mentorships. I have already basically this week and last week, I've been basically, if you haven't noticed yet, you'll notice it now, especially looking back and realizing after I say this, you'll realize, why am I watching ICT mentorships? I'm strengthening. I don't know if I mentioned this yet. I don't remember if I have. Sorry, but I'm strengthening my understanding of the confluences. ICT might be controversial, but it doesn't mean his concepts are not good. Clearly they're fucking working, as you can see. Anyway, strengthening the confluences, my confluences. I'm strengthening my strategy, but also strengthening my setups because my confluences are based on his concepts. So what does this mean? I'm going to try to understand what my confluences mean on a deeper level because ICT is able to perform that. He's able to explain that. He's able to provide that essentially. So I'm going to get into that. But what does this really mean? Why am I strengthening my shit? I seem to do good. Well, from week 3, last week till now, and so on from here on out, I'll be systematizing and basically taking TGR's free strategy. And if you haven't noticed, I've been already systematizing my own strategy. What does that even mean? What does that mean, K? What does that even mean? Systematizing your own strategy. What does it mean, KK? What does that mean? I'm basically making the strategy my own by basically figuring out some things. Some things I've noticed. I've noted it on a different notepad. Some things I've acknowledged and recognized and noted as well. And will be basically adding onto the list of confluences for my setups. I'm not going to start doing it yet. I'm not going to start doing it anytime soon. That doesn't mean next month I'm going to do it. Maybe even October I'm going to do it. No. I have to do a lot of back testing to make sure this works. I'm not just going to go into a live trading session and do it. Would you do that in a funded account during an eval? No. So I have to do a lot of back testing. So that's where I'm at. A little early, especially during the assessment, but again, I've chosen to go 100 days. So when we reach 30 trades, if I'm doing good, that's only like what? I'm in 20 right now. That means 10 more. Nothing crazy. That means it's 2 weeks in after this, but I might go 50. I'll go 50, see where I'm at. I mean, that's what, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll go 60. How about that? Out of 100. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. I'll go 60, maybe 55, see where I'm at, you know? Basically, that's 3 months. Maybe 40. Who knows? Who knows? I'll see where I'm at whenever I feel like I'm ready to, you know, reanalyze if whether I can just go for the funded or not. But I definitely have a lot of work to do right now, so I need some sleep to do it. So 1 hour and 40-minute video. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the damn webcam. I'm so happy I got this. It's great. It works perfect, as you can see. I mean, no more 480p, huh? So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, in another video. I don't know. I might do some back testing this weekend. I might not. I'm definitely going to be busy with ICT. I want to catch up on that because, I mean, I'm only watching, what, 1 or 2 videos on weekends, and there's 50 videos in the playlist. I don't know if I'll catch up in time because I'm already starting this, and either way, I don't know if it's enough time. 100 trades versus 50 videos, but only 1 video per weekend and 55 videos left, or 40 something. Yeah, no. All right, well, I'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.